how can you even guarantee, like, what's the ROI on this? And with coaching, the ROI, if you have a good coach, if you're connected to that coach, and if you show up and you're committed, the ROI is literally priceless. Again, because your coach, just like mine did with me, will change the trajectory of your life in a beautiful way. You are listening to the Beyond the Classroom podcast, a podcast for burnt out teachers who know something's gotta give. After teaching for 14 years and feeling completely burned out for way too long, in May of 2022, I made a big decision and left the classroom. I now help burnt out teachers like you take back balance and joy so you can wake up every day loving your life. In this podcast, we'll explore who you are beyond the classroom, whether you're considering leaving or wanting to make changes so you can fall in love with teaching again. Either way, I understand what it's like to be living a life that looks fun and cute on the outside. You know, summer's off, playing all day, off at 2 o'clock every day, but actually feels miserable and draining. I'm your host and coach, Sandy Patterson, and I'm so excited to help you step into your fullest potential and believe in that potential to make an impact on the world, not just survive each day. Are you ready? Let's do this. Well, hello there, and welcome back to another episode of the Beyond the Classroom podcast. I am Sandy Patterson, your host and certified life and business coach, and I am so happy that you are here today to spend a little time with me. Always excited to have you. I hope you also had a wonderful Thanksgiving if you celebrate Thanksgiving, of course. At the time of recording this, it's November 26th of 2023. So we're just coming off of Thanksgiving, and I hope that whatever you did, wherever you found yourself, that you had some nice rest, you ate good food, and you were surrounded by people that uplift you and energize you. I had a couple of interesting conversations, obviously, like always, right, at Thanksgiving with some family members that I don't see very often. And it prompted me to record this podcast episode because I realized after thinking back when I was a teacher that I actually didn't really know what a life coach was. And I don't think that many people in general actually know and understand what a life coach does or what a life coach is, or kind of how coaching even works, right? And the conversations and the questions that I had at Thanksgiving this year, as I was telling my family members that I haven't seen in a while about my coaching business, they all were pretty much like, what is that? What does that even mean? What do you even do? And so I thought that this episode could kind of clear that up for anybody who's wondering what the heck a life coach is, what does a life coach do, and why would anybody even need a life coach, right? And I am obviously a huge believer in coaching, and this is why I became a certified life coach. I became a coach because when I left the classroom back in 2022, I had hired a life coach prior to leaving the classroom. So we started working together a few months before I left my job, and I just knew, like, there was just this gut instinct that was so strong. And I just knew that I was going to need support in making a big transition in my life. I was essentially leaving the job that I thought I was always going to have. I was starting a business. My days were going to look very, very different than they had before. I was basically, well, it felt like I was jumping off a ledge, and I just knew in my gut that I was going to need some support. And so I started working with my life coach, and she has made such an incredible impact in my life. And she literally has changed the trajectory of my life because of my time with her. And I am so incredibly grateful to her for that. And I also wanted to be that person for other women to pass that along. It's all about that ripple effect. So here I am, a year and a half later, certified life coach and running my life and business coaching business and helping dozens of women step into their dreams and reach their goals and become the very best versions of themselves that they can be, and really helping them jump off their ledges too. I've worked with women to help them launch businesses, help them launch programs, help them figure out what their next moves are and why it's important to them and how that will make an impact on their future. And again, how they can pass it along too. And it has been an incredible journey so far. And I know that really this is only the beginning of that journey. And so this conversation, like I said at Thanksgiving, family members were asking me, like, what the heck is a life coach? Like, what do you even do? Like, what even happens on a call? Like, what does that even look like? And these are all valid questions. They were asking me, like, if I wanted to hire a life coach, like, what would even happen? And what would I need to bring with me? And what is it? What does it look like? So today in this episode, I am going to explain that to you. I'm going to walk you through a coaching call. I'm going to talk to you about why you would hire a coach. And I'm going to talk to you about what you would need to bring with you. So here's the thing. My job as your coach is to help you get what you want and to help you reach your goals. Because oftentimes people will come to a life or business coach because they're trying to achieve something and they're having trouble getting there on their own. And the beauty of having a coach in your corner is that you get somebody behind you that is pushing you along, cheering you along. And not only that, is holding you accountable, because oftentimes what happens is we say, and you know what, even a lot of times too, a lot of my clients too, we even know what we need to do. Like we know what we need to do. We just have trouble actually doing it for different reasons. And those reasons might be fear. They could be limiting beliefs. They could be mindset issues. There's a whole range of different things. There's a whole range of things, reasons why we say we're going to do something or we know we need to do something, but we don't. So we know what we need to do. We just don't always do it. And the beauty of having a coach in your corner is that he or she should be holding you accountable and making sure that you work through those things that are in your way. If there are obstacles in the way or roadblocks, right? There are always going to be roadblocks. And typically these roadblocks, again, are going to be things like mindset issues, limiting beliefs, fear. Fear is a big one. Imposter syndrome, confidence, stepping into a new identity to achieve these new goals. All of these things your coach is going to help you identify, because lots of times we know there's a block, there's something in our way, we can feel it, but we can't quite figure out what it is. So your coach is going to help you figure out what the blocks are, what those obstacles are, and then move those things out of the way. The whole idea here in having a coach is having another set of eyes, another set of ears, another perspective, another person that's outside of your situation, that's not like in it with you, to help you strategize, to help you move forward, and to help move those obstacles out of the way. So I am a huge believer that anybody in any phase of their life, no matter what their job is, no matter where they are, no matter what you do, I believe that everybody can benefit tremendously from having a coach. And I truly believe that, again, because of my own work with my own life coach, plus the work that I've done with some truly, truly amazing coaches over the past year. They have literally helped me grow into a better person. They've helped me see things. They've helped me bring what I really, really want into focus, right? They've helped me get things out of the way. They've helped me get my own self out of my own way. They've given me that like shake your shoulders, slap you in the face, like come to Jesus moment, and have kept me moving forward. And this is literally what having a coach is all about. So unless you have no goals in life, then maybe you don't need a coach, but I'm sure all of us have goals, whether they're health goals, they're business goals, they are just life goals, relationship goals, confidence goals. We all have goals, or we all should have goals. So you essentially decide to work with a coach because you need help achieving something specific, right? Their ultimate job, your coach's job, is to help you reach your goals and make sure that you do what you say you're going to do and propel you forward at a faster pace than if you were trying to figure it out alone or do it all by yourself. And that's no fun, right? So the other question that I got at Thanksgiving was, so what actually happens on a coaching call? Like what actually goes on? What do you do? And it was funny because I'm so in it. It's what I do all day now. So it was just to me like, well, duh, it's a coaching call. But, when you're in it, we don't realize that the people outside might not understand. And maybe you're a person that has considered hiring a coach or considered working with a coach or considered talking with a coach or whatever it is. And you're wondering like, what does that even look like? And it can be scary when you don't know. I know that I had no idea what happened before I started with my coach. I just showed up on a leap of faith and with my fingers crossed and was like, okay, let's do this. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to walk you through what a coaching call looks like. Okay. So I schedule all of my client calls on Zoom. So you meet with your coach on Zoom, or it could even be a phone call, but I like to see my clients and their beautiful faces. And I'm so lucky. I also do have a few clients that are local and in person. So if it's an in-person session, that's even better. We'll meet at like a Starbucks or a coffee shop, or we'll meet somewhere where it's convenient for both of us. My sessions are usually 45 minutes long, and that 45 minutes is all about you. It is your time. There is beauty in this. How often do you take 45 minutes per week or every other week to slow down, take a breath, and only focus on you and your goals? I can probably answer that question for you. Not very often, if ever. This focused time allows you the space to slow down and think, right? Our thoughts can feel like a huge jumble most days. And this coaching space allows you to take time to sort it out, to recenter, to realign, refocus on your goals. And this in itself is magic. I am telling you, 45 minutes of just you time to sort it all out, take a breath, regroup. It's a beautiful thing. So the first coaching call is usually always about getting to know you and allowing you to get to know me and really building that rapport, getting to know each other, getting to know what your goals are. We're going to spend the majority of that first call really setting goals and figuring out where it is that you want to be at the end of our time together, what it is that you want to accomplish, what you're hoping to walk away from the coaching relationship with. Because it's my job to make sure that we stay on track and we stay moving towards that goal. Now, we're going to set goals for you that are measurable. We're going to set goals that are realistic. And we're going to talk about why these goals are so important to you. And we're going to anchor onto those goals because that is essentially what's going to drive you forward. So the first session is really, really all about goal setting. It's a lot of me asking questions and it's a lot of you answering and thinking and sorting through things. And it's really just us getting to know each other and get comfortable with each other and just getting that relationship going. Because for me, relationships are everything. And as your coach, I want to really get to know you, right? I want to know about your likes, your dislikes, your family, your dreams, the things you're scared to say out loud, or maybe the things that you haven't said out loud yet. And really, I just want to know everything. As I say that, it almost sounds like a first date, right? But it's just the first coaching session. So it's all good. So then let me talk you through the anatomy of a coaching call. So I always start calls off with your wins. I will always ask you what your wins are from that previous week. Always, every session, it's with wins. So these wins can be personal, they can be related to your business, they can be related to whatever your goals are, or they can be completely unrelated. It's just a win, something that you are celebrating and something you are proud of. Like, we celebrate you because oftentimes we glaze over the good stuff and we just focus on the hard stuff and the negative stuff. Our brains are really good at doing that, on focusing on the things that are hard and the things that haven't been going well and the things that we have not accomplished and all of that negative stuff. So we talk about wins so your brain can start in that space of celebration and progress and look at these great things that have happened. And we start from abundance and gratitude. So after we talk about your wins, I will check in with you about your commitments from the last session. So at the end of every session, I will always ask you what you are committed to in the weeks or the week ahead. And it's usually pertaining to whatever we talked about in our session that time. So you will be committed to doing something usually always doing something, and then also to being something. So it's one thing to do. It's another thing to actually step into that and to be, okay? So there's usually always a doing commitment, something you're going to do, and a being commitment at the end of our sessions together. So at the beginning of the next session, I will check in with you, and this is where the accountability piece comes in too, right? Because if you show up and you're like, oh, I didn't do what I said I was going to do, then you and I are going to have a conversation about why it didn't happen. There's a reason why it didn't happen. So we're going to chat about that and get to the bottom of why you didn't do what you said you were going to do, why you didn't follow through. And this is where it's really helpful to have someone outside of you who cares deeply about you, who will call you out on these excuses you're making and again, help you get out of your own way. So we'll check in there. And then after we talk about those commitments, I will ask you what your request is for the day. So what would you like to focus our time on together today? What would you like to focus on? What is the next thing that's going to help you get towards that bigger goal? And then we will dive right into coaching. And the coaching itself is mostly talking, and it's me asking you questions, right? Now, my goal as your coach is to ask really powerful questions to get you to start to uncover the layers to these things that you are working on, because it is never, ever just a one and done type thing. There are so many layers underneath any goal or any aspiration that you have that you're going to have to work to pull back on constantly. These layers, they're always there, and there's always something more to peel back. There's always it's always deeper. It's always about something deeper, right? It's that being part. Now, this is where the big stuff happens. The bulk of the call is spent on coaching, and this is where the breakthroughs happen. This is where the realizations happen. This is where those aha moments happen. And this is where sometimes the tears happen, right? This is where the laughter happens. This is where oh, I didn't think of that before. This is really the meat of the coaching call. And this is why you hired a coach. It's for these moments, and they are deep. They are powerful revelations and realizations and recognitions happening in this part of the call. This is where these big shifts happen to essentially rewire your brain, to rewrite stories, and to figure out how to strategically take action to get to your goals. And I do business coaching alongside life coaching. And what I found is that mindset is just as important as the business strategy. And that's, I think, what makes me different than most business coaches. Yes, we definitely talk about strategy and business and all of that good stuff, but we spend just as much time, if not more, on the mindset piece and peeling back those layers, because business, especially in the beginning phases, is 80% mindset, if not more. You have to have your mindset in check, or you're just not going to go anywhere. And then after and during the coaching process, I will also continuously check in with you regarding your request. So I'll say, okay, your request for today was to da, 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 da. Do you feel like we've accomplished that today? Do you feel like we're on the right track to accomplish that? Do you feel like we're moving in that direction? And then after that, I will ask you what you are committed to for the week ahead. So what is going to be the next thing this week or in the following couple weeks that you are committed to as far as your goals in your business and whatever it is to, again, to get you to that next step. Like I talked about before, I always encourage a doing commitment. So something that you're actually going to do or that you need to actually like an action, and a being commitment. Who do you need to be in order to make these shifts happen and get these things done? Because in order to accomplish things that you've never accomplished before, you're going to have to be someone you've never been. Although you're still the same person. She's in there right now, so don't worry. It's all there. But you have to shift the being part just as much as the doing part. Now, to wrap up our call, I will ask you a wrap-up question. So I always ask this in a different way. So it might be something like, what was your biggest aha moment today? It might be, what are you going to take with you into the weeks ahead? It might be, what are you most excited about here from today? Or what did you learn about yourself today? And that, my friend, is the anatomy of a coaching call. So it is all about you. It is so centered around you and your goals and how to get you there. And then you are off to go and conquer the world, right? You're off to go fulfill those commitments to yourself and your business and actually do the things and be the person. Because again, it's one thing to meet with a coach, right? But then it's a whole nother thing to actually go out and do the thing and be the person you need to be. But again, the beauty of coaching is that you know someone is going to be there checking in on you. Someone's in your corner. Someone's there when you get stuck. Not if you get stuck, but when you get stuck, because we all get stuck at some point or another. And when you're like, oh, I'm stuck. I know what I need to do, but I just can't get myself to do it. Or I can't figure out where this fear is coming from, or I can't figure out why I'm having so much trouble doing this, or I'm stuck and I don't know why. Your coach is there to help you. And I'm telling you that having a coach is the best investment that I have ever made in myself. And it's the best investment that I've ever made in myself, not only for me, but also for all of the people around me, because everybody in my life has benefited from the work that I've done with my coach. And yeah, of course, like, was I scared at first? Hell yeah, I was scared. Again, I just took a leap and crossed my fingers and followed my intuition that this was going to work out with my coach. And it worked out is an understatement. But I didn't even know what it was. Like, who had as a life coach, right? Like, my family members were saying at Thanksgiving, like, I don't even know what a life coach is. I didn't even know what it was. Like, how can you even guarantee like what I'm going to get out of this? Well, what's the ROI on this? And with coaching, the ROI, if you have a good coach, if you're connected to that coach, and if you show up and you're committed, the ROI is literally priceless. Again, because your coach, just like mine did with me, will change the trajectory of your life in a beautiful way. And it might not even be in the way that you initially came to the coach for, but you're going to discover so many things about yourself and your strengths and how powerful you are and how strong you are and how amazing you are. And you're going to discover all of those things through your work and your coaching. It is a magical thing. Now, the other Thanksgiving question I got asked too, and I get asked this usually before a first call with clients, is what do I need to do to work with a coach? Like, is it a lot of work? And the answer to that is yes and no. It is a lot of work because you're about to embark on an incredible journey of self-discovery and growth. But it's not a lot of work because really all you have to do is be committed to yourself and your goals and to showing up and to doing the work. So that's kind of an oxymoron, right? It is lots of work, but it isn't. And it's easy to just show up. But there's also work in between. And I created a post on Instagram a while back of things that you need to bring with you to a coaching call. So I'm going to go through those really quickly right now too. So the things to bring with you are going to be your favorite notebook or your favorite journal or something to write with, because you're going to want to document. In a really, really great coaching call, a lot of things are going to be happening and a lot of things are going to come to light for you because of the questions that your coach is going to be asking you. So you probably are going to want to write all of these beautiful things down. And if you're like me, I love writing all these things down so I can revisit them in the future. And you'll use your notebook to write down your ahas, your takeaways, just anything that you want to remember, anything that you're like, whoa, I didn't even realize that. And I definitely don't want to forget that. Now, you're also going to bring a request to each coaching call. A request is something that you are wanting to work on. Now, your request is always going to be tied to that overall overarching goal that we came up with at that first session together. So you're going to bring that request, and it's okay if you come and you're like, oh, I don't know what I need to work on right now, or I don't know what my request is, or I'm not really sure. I'm so scattered right now. It is my job as your coach to help you figure out what that request is and what that next thing is going to be to ultimately move you towards that bigger goal that we set in the beginning. So you either come with a request and you know, or you don't. And I have some questions that can get some clarity around your request. Sometimes clients have a request right off the bat and they're like, yes, I know exactly what I need to work on today. Other times, you show up and you're like, I'm not actually sure right now. Can you help me figure this out? And then we work together to help you figure it out. But the request is what the majority of the call will be focused around. And it is always tied to your overarching goal that we set in that first session. Now, you also obviously want to bring an open heart and an open mind. We are humans, which means we come to the table with lots of stories, lots of beliefs, different lenses, and different filters that we see the world through. The most successful clients that I've had really come with an open heart and an open mind and are willing to question and bend and manipulate these stories and these lenses in order to serve their greater purpose. Okay. So having an open heart and an open mind. Now, you're also going to come to a coaching call with your accountability preferences. So have you ever thought about how you like people to hold you accountable? This is just something to think about before you start coaching or before you start work with a coach, right? How do you like to be held accountable? Your coach, well, a good coach is going to ask you how you like to be held accountable, because she's going to help you by holding you accountable. So it might look like check-ins. It might be a quick phone call in between sessions. It might be an email reminder or a text. It also very well might be a way for you to hold yourself accountable, because ultimately, as your coach, I want you to carry these new habits and these new behaviors and this new being into your future without any help and without you having to rely on anyone. Now, I also put this one, it's kind of funny, but it's also very true. You need to bring a sweatband with you, because as your coach, I am going to push you to do things that make you uncomfortable and that push you outside of your comfort zone. So get ready. I have some of my clients tell me that they are so uncomfortable, but they are all willing to work through it. And this is why my clients are freaking amazing, because they understand what is on the other side of that uncomfortable. And that is achieving their goals and getting what they want, which is so incredible, right? In order to grow and evolve, we have to do things that make us really uncomfortable. That's just how it is. And we have to dig through things that we probably have shoved down and put in a box and then shoved far away where we don't need to think about them anymore. And my clients are really amazing about showing up and being willing to confront these things and be willing to push through them. Your coach's goal is always to keep you forward focused, to keep you focused on your goals and your future. But sometimes we need to dig up old stories and old beliefs, limiting beliefs, in order to push forward and to rewire those beliefs and those stories. And that's why you show up, right? That's why you hire a coach, because you need that extra push. And you know that if you want to see different results, you're going to have to do something different. And I say this to my clients all the time. If you are uncomfortable, it's all good. It just means it's working. Stick with it. Stick in there. Stay with it. Sit in it. Be in it. Keep going, okay? Because that is where the growth and that evolution happens. It means you're evolving, and it means that you're making progress. Now, the last thing you can bring is your sweats and your favorite drink. The beautiful thing about coaching is that it happens in the comfort of your own home if you're coaching on Zoom. So you can literally wear your sweats. You can, come with no makeup on, whatever you want, messy hair, dirty hair, whatever. It doesn't matter. Come in your slippers, come however you are in all of your you, right? Always you are just able to show up as you are, no matter how you're feeling, no matter how you look. It's just, you just want to be comfortable, and it's a space for you to just be you with no judgment. How many spaces do we have like that in the world today? Not very many. So your coaching space is a space for you to just be you and to show up as you are. So now that you know exactly what happens in a coaching call and what to bring to a coaching call and what your coach's job is, I thought it would be really cool to let you listen in on an actual coaching call. So I'm going to share this little clip with you from one of the coaching sessions that I did with one of my amazing clients last week. She is truly amazing and has been doing some really incredible work. So with her permission, I'm going to share this short clip with you. It's just different clips from our call together, so you can hear some of the questions that I ask, and you can hear some of her big aha moments, some of her reflections, some of her realizations. I thought that would be really special for you to take a listen. So listen in.
And which is, I feel like, why I said, I feel like sometimes I think I just take on more than I really am physically capable of in 2 days a week. I think I don't actually know what I can accomplish in just 2 work days a week. Mm-hmm. And so I think that my commitments and the amount of work I need to do in a month is more than I can do in 2 days a week.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. I'm curious what your relationship is to accomplishment and productivity.
I guess I have always just felt like I need to be productive. in order to succeed and like make progress, and I get that this is like all what I'm telling myself in my brain because like literally I own my own business. Like I could tell myself anything, really. I don't know. In order to be successful, I need to accomplish XYZ.
Oh, okay. What's your definition of success?
I don't know. We've talked about this before, and I have a really hard time identifying success.
It's okay. You have I think you just hit the nail on the head, right? You feel like in order to be successful, you need to accomplish and always be producing. And you literally just said, I can tell myself anything, and this is what I'm choosing to believe. So I think the beauty in this and the beauty of you taking the space to kind of reflect and kind of like pull these stories apart, right? Because yeah, it has to do with the list. And yes, it has to do with the strategies that you can do at the end of the day. But really what's underneath that is like that story, right? That thing that you're telling yourself that's playing into this. And it's the patterns, right? The patterns that you're seeing in these behaviors and these feelings, right?
Yep.
So let me ask you, if you can tell yourself anything, and you've recognized in this moment that right now you're telling yourself, in order to be successful, I need to accomplish. Is that actually true? Yeah. And it's those urges, right? Like you're going to want so badly to continue writing that caption because in that moment it feels urgent. But again, if you come back to that idea that it's like, it's not real. And I also want to point out too, like you keep talking about like something in my brain needs to change. I need to fix this. Nothing really needs to be fixed. It's just a rewiring, right? And it's a recognizing and a noticing of like, okay, this story has probably served me in the past. I bet if we sat down and we talked about how in the past, like this idea of like productivity and accomplishment has probably served you in the past, but is it serving you now? And what your definition of success is and your priorities are now in this season. So I just want to point that out to you and remind you that it's not about fixing anything. It's just about meeting yourself where you are and then giving yourself grace. And then, like you said, just trying these things out to see how they feel, trying that conversation with your brain, even when it feels hard.
I think that the talking about urgency, because in talking about invented urgency, I guess, I think is like a big aha, and just really like pushing my brain one step further and asking myself if something is truly urgent and like what the effect is going to be. I think that's like the biggest question for my brain, because I have this tendency to believe that like this all needs to get done, when truly I think deep down I know like it doesn't. Like nothing is going to happen if I don't finish XYZ. And it's just my habit to just think that it needs to be done. Like it's just how I operate. And so changing, I think that's like the biggest question, to start changing how I think about things.
So that, my friends, is the anatomy of a coaching call and the things that you need to bring to coaching. So hopefully that helped answer some of those Thanksgiving questions that I got about what the heck even is a coach, who would even need a coach, and what exactly do you do all day, Sandy? This is what I do. I help women, like I said, step into their fullest potential, see possibilities in themselves and in their lives, and help them create lives that they love, that they want to wake up to live, not just wake up and feel like they're like running the hamster wheel and surviving. So as always, if you have any questions, any thoughts, any reflections, any aha moments here from this podcast episode, please reach out and let me know. You know, I always love to hear from you on Instagram. Love when you DM and we have these conversations about all of these things that we're chatting about. So until next time, take care, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Beyond the Classroom. If you know something has to change and you're ready to take the next step to make it happen, whether it's in or out of the classroom, let's talk it through together. Schedule a no obligation chat with me and we can talk through where you're stuck, how to get you unstuck, and how to keep you moving forward. Schedule your free call today by clicking the link in the show notes. I can't wait to connect with you.